Okay, a very, very good afternoon, everybody, once again, and we are back. And this time, as we know, tomorrow is Teachers' Day, a very, very important day for all of us because all our lives we are continuously learning from somebody or other. I've yet to meet any individual who says that he or she has not learned from anybody in this world. And when we meet people and we learn from them, it's always super exciting. For me, it's always something which I love to do. And I have two people for whom I have immense respect. And this time I thought that on any of Teachers' Day, whom do I get for all of you for a good conversation, a good tea and tale? I bring to you one Miss Lila Poonawala. You will be amazed to know she is the second lady mechanical engineer of India. She's Padam Shri. She's been awarded the award from the King of Sweden. She studied in Stanford, Oxford, did whatever. The first among the first CEO, women CEOs of India. She has done MNCs, and the kind of work she does is unbelievable. At her 53rd birthday, she got some gift. And what would we do when we get some gift? Go crazy, buy something. She set a foundation to help young ladies and women come up in life. If I keep on reading what all she's done in life, I think we'll finish off 30 minutes just by me reading about her achievement. A phenomenal lady. Every minute that I've been able to spend with her has been a huge inspiration for me. So obviously, I requested her if she could join us to a very different conversation. I'm not sure she had a conversation like this where we see and share and talk of stories. And then I have Mr. Damodaran, an amazing person. How many of us would join IIT and just leave IIT because we feel that no, this is not what we want to do? People die to get into IIT. And Mr. Damodaran, at that young age, he quit IIT, he went back home, and we'll hear his tales about how his mother taught him important lessons, how his father felt. Then, when he was posted, he joined the civil services as an IAS, and he was posted in one of the states that there was some huge issue, and he took it head on, and he became the youngest chief secretary of India. In his entire life, the way he's seen challenges turned around UTI, handled IDBI Bank, became the SEBI chairman, and unbelievable. Success stories, one after the another, and still at this date, he's so enthusiastic and trying to contribute. Recently, for the MBA Institute in Gurgaon, MBI, he was made the chairperson as an advisor to what has to be done there to improve and take it further. Every time I speak to him, he's contributing to society, making a difference. For me, these two people have been huge inspiration. Personally, I have learned a lot, and I cannot resist getting them together. Indebted to them for the time. And with this, we start some interesting tales, and I hope you have a great time. Please keep on writing comments. And if you want to ask any specific questions, please do so. I'll start with the ma'am first. Ma'am, mechanical engineer, second in India. No, what will be head? Maybe that kind of girl trying to become an engineer, ma'am. Like, how do you do that? Well, I, I, even today, people resist when somebody says, a lady says that she wants to become a civil engineer, mechanical engineer. Why this? Why not become a doctor or look at this? That's the kind of stereotyping which is there in that era, ma'am. What was in your mind? How did you decide to become a mechanical engineer, ma'am?
Tapan, to answer your question in very short, if I would not have become a mechanical engineer, you wouldn't have invited me here. Because I did something different. That is why you thought it's important to have me here. And I'm very happy to meet all of you on this LinkedIn. I can't see every one of you, but hello, everybody. Answering Tapan's question, what made me do mechanical engineering? I think in those days itself, I always wanted to do something different. I grew up in a boys' world because I had four brothers and five cousins, no other girl in the family. I had to keep fighting with all of them to survive. I had to play games with them on the street, playing vitti dandu, flying kites, because otherwise I would be left all alone. And growing up like this, I thought best would be to teach them a lesson and do something which only men think they can do. So that's how I got into engineering. And mechanical, because mechanical was an engineering full of activity and action. Civil also could have been, but I still wanted to work with the machines. I wanted to be on the shop floor, and that is why I started to do mechanical engineering. And another thing is, Tapan, also to tell you that I really have not thought of myself as a girl or a boy. I've thought myself as a person, and I wanted to be an excellent person, a successful person, to be different in this world. That's it.
Amazing, ma'am. I think what a big learning it is. We are a person first, and we have to be different. And I've heard so many stories about you, ma'am, of you going to shop floor on holidays to meet the workers directly on the machine. When your managers were not there, and get first-hand experience of what they have been treated. And that's why you're one of the most popular CEOs, who has been in the factory. Which was such an interesting story. Why do all that stuff, ma'am? Why do you go to shop floors on a holiday?
I do that because I believe in relationship. Relationships don't come through increments. Relationships don't come through rewards. Relationship comes through your expression and your connect with the people. And why I wanted to be connected with my shop floor, because to tell you honestly, I believe more in those workmen who work directly with the work rather than those managers who report what the others are doing. So I've always had a soft corner for my workmen. I used to love to go there, and I had an advantage. Being a woman, I could go to a worker and ask him, "How's your family? How's your wife doing? How are your children? What is your daughter doing?" Imagine Tapan, you going on the shop floor and asking, "How's your wife?" He'll throw you out. So who the hell are you? My wife. But I could reach out to them. I could reach out to them, and that is what really I think was the story of my success. They backed me. They always said, "Madam, aap aage chalo, hum aapke piche hain." And this is what really is connecting with people. You connect with people, and you'll get all that you want from them. The and you have to be with them. On the New Year's Day, everybody would have a party. My managers would be having a party. Exactly at 11:30, I would leave and go to the workshop. The big cake, I would cut the cake with them, have fun with them, talk to them till 4 o'clock in the morning, till the
Wow.
shift was ending. I would be with them, and then at 6 o'clock I would be at the gate to receive the next shift. And this is what I think is key to my basic success of relationship with people, down to earth people.
Unbelievable, ma'am. I think at that era, and today people have given all these fancy words for doing this people connect and all. And as you had been there with your workers, setting up and transforming the organization and the way it built up to become, the best in that time, and the way you could take and turn around your company. Unbelievable. And the secret is simple. I think for all of us to learn is to connect with the people and have a real honest connect, not a superficial one that you show. Be there with them in times of need. Be with their family. Lead from the front. You can turn on any organization, any company. And whenever
I've always believed that you have to be in the trenches with your troops to understand what it is to be in a troop. That's it.
exactly for
Be
all
in a
the
trench.
for all of us who want to be good leaders, remember this: being the prince is the truth. Are they missing something? Moving on to Damodaran sir. Sir, today ask any parent, his or her entire ambition is that bacha IIT mein chala jaye, no? And at your time, IT was like the thing. They're not so many issues. Like, getting to IT was so tough. If you got into it, you went there and you dropped out. You just took a train and went to home. How do you do all this stuff, sir? Malab, no, malab, people's dream, and here you have it and you just leave it. What was the reaction? What are you learning? What went into your mind? And what was the learning that you had on the hindsight and look back, no, of the stuff that you did then?
Let me be absolutely candid with you and give you two reasons why I left. Let me give you one reason why I got there. I had not intended to apply for the exams, but people who were staying with me in the hostel were very keen that they took the exams. I went along with them, herd mentality. They didn't qualify, I did. And then I wondered whether I did the right thing. Took me a while to find my way out. But two reasons really which triggered it. The first classes were at 7:30 in the morning. I have never been a morning person. So to get up and get ready and go to classes at 7:30 and absorb what was being taught was a huge challenge, no matter what the subject. It was not about engineering, it was about classroom and absorption. The second, honestly, was that everybody said, "Oh, you're going to IIT, a great place." It was almost as if they painted it to be a kind of a heaven, an oasis in an intellectual desert kind of a thing. I went there and I did not really, honestly, and I've shared this with some of my then teachers, I did not see them as any different from the ones that I saw earlier in my education. And I don't think I was motivated enough, I was captivated enough to stay there. And then I told myself then, as I tell myself now, and I share this with a lot of young people, you have only one life to live. Don't do what you're not happy doing. Whatever you do, you must be happy doing it. It doesn't matter whether you get paid or not.
I think what a powerful statement.
Out of there, not an easy decision to take. Looking back, a correct decision to take. Looking back, yes.
So what a powerful statement to make. If you're not happy, don't do it. And something, when people would say you're crazy to drop out, still do that. You're not happy. Your mother has been a huge influencer. I understand that when you went back, that is one story I want to share with everybody because that has left a huge imprint on my mind. The way your mother reacted. Imagine a son comes home, drops out of IIT, and says, "I don't want to go back." Now see a mother's reaction. And Saras told me his mother influence in his life has been huge, and the kind of learning she has given him. The two, three stories that you have of your mother. One there's the other chess one that you had said so once to me way back. I
I'll
want to share the stories, sir. I think it's an amazing story.
I will
Of,
share I will share two of them with you, but just a bit of information. My mother, had she been alive, would have been 101 day before yesterday, but she died 6 years too early at the age of 95 with several great grandchildren that she saw. And then she decided to call it a day. But if I rewind to the time that I got back from IIT, it was a train that left Chennai at night. Uh, it got to Madurai, where my father was posted at that time. And I went home early in the morning. My younger sister, 9 years younger than me, was waiting to go to school. She was the first one that saw me coming back. She was naturally a little puzzled. This guy wasn't expected back, but her priorities were how to get to school on time. She didn't give it too much thought. My father was at home. He couldn't absorb it. Uh, I think men are like that. Women, absorb problems a little easier. Men find it difficult. My mother was not at home. She'd gone to visit somebody in a hospital, somebody with a burns injury or something. She came back, saw me there. And then my father told her he's blown it all up. He's come back after getting to IIT. And her first question to me, I'd come by train. Obviously, I must have accumulated a lot of dirt from Indian Railways free of cost on my clothes. It must have been visible. So she said, first go and have a bath. Then we will have breakfast and then we will talk about what you will do thereafter. I thought her sequencing was phenomenal. It was a strength of hers. If there were 10 things to do, she would get the sequence right. First, go and clean your body, have breakfast, then we'll clean your mind. That will come later. As for the chess thing, my father was a good chess player. I was, even though it sounds odd for me to say so, I was at that stage a very, very good chess player. And I was the age of 14 or 15 playing in a very major championship. And I had an adjourned game. It was a difficult game of sitting up late at night on the chessboard, wondering what move to make next. And at some stage, I got frustrated and knocked the chessboard over. And my mother, who was in the next room, heard the noise, came there and saw all the chess pieces lying on the ground and the board in a very odd situation. And she asked me what happened. So I told her that I'm not able to find a winning combination and I need to find one before tomorrow. And it was obviously very frustrating. And she said, have you lost? I said, no, no, I haven't lost. The game is still on. And she told me something which I not only remember, but I share with a lot of people. You haven't lost till your opponent has won. This is what she told me then. She knew nothing about chess, but that was not important. The lesson was game neutral, situation neutral. You haven't lost till your opponent has won. So I could keep you here till tomorrow evening telling you stories about her. Uh, she was the best teacher I certainly had. I suspect she was the best teacher anybody could have had.
Thank you. That was such an emotional thing. And this after you told me way back, in any situation when I get stuck, I always tell myself this question. So, has my opponent won? The answer is no. I go and give my best shot even today, sir. No, so I think such sentences, such things have such huge influence on the way we think and behave. Ma'am, over to you, ma'am. Who has been your mentor and teacher from whom you can share some stories which have such lasting impression in your life, which made a huge difference, as you progressed and you went ahead?
See, in your life, at different stages, you have different mentors coming in. In school, I had a teacher, a very nice teacher. I was not very brilliant in school. Until about 8th standard, I always got promoted because of failing in one or two subjects. Then one day, my teacher, her name was Mrs. Sundarji, she called me up and she said, Leela, why are you behaving like this? I said, what do you mean by behaving? Say, you are a clever girl. You are just distracted. Why do you not concentrate on your studies? Because you can do it. You have the capacity to do well. And believe me, if you just focus on your studies, you will be able to do it. That made all the difference because she trusted me that I can do it. And believe it or not, just turn around and I started to come first in the class. So these confidences that your teacher or your parents have in you make a lot of difference to you. If your parents keep telling you you're useless, you're not doing things properly, you will never learn to do things properly. Same thing happened when I went in college. My colleague's father, he was a scientist, and I was not going for final exam of my BE. And I said, I don't know, I'm going to fail, I don't want to go. He says, Leela, you're not going to fail. Just go and give it a try. You will succeed. I tell you, you will succeed because you know what you're talking about. And I listened to him because he was an elder. And again, I got distinction and I passed and I am where I am. In the workplace, I had a mentor of Alpha Laval headquarters gentleman, Mr. Lars Halden. He had confidence in me. When I first took over as managing director, I was to address my people. The whole staff I was supposed to address, and he was sitting on the desk. I prepared a nice long speech of 4 or 5 pages, and I opened that and I started to read that out to them. At the end of that, he called me. He says, Bila, do you think you'll be a good leader if you're going to read out a speech to people? You must relate to people. That's where the relationship came. Talk from your heart. Until you talk from your heart, nobody is going to believe in you and what you say. Don't read speeches. Learn to say what you want to say. So that was that leader. And then when I married, Feroz, my husband, has been my teacher. And like Mr. Damodaran was saying, that be happy. If you're not happy, don't do it. I was a mechanical engineer, right? I took a job of an apprentice in Alpha Laval, that time Vulcan Laval. One day my boss calls me and tells me that the manager in charge of housekeeping and gardening, he has left, the maintenance manager, and we want you to look after this job. I said, sir, but I'm a mechanical engineer. You want me to look after gardens and toilets and cleaning? What is this? This is not fair. You're doing this because I'm a woman. He says, you think about it. I went home and I cried. I told my husband, see what this guy is doing. Because I'm a woman, he's doing this. He told me exactly what your mother told you. He told me, Leela, if you're unhappy, leave your job and come at home. I will feed you food. That's not an issue. But if you're going there, adjust yourself. You want to do the job, do whatever comes your way and do it best. Don't just go there and do because you have to do it. Go and do it because you want to do it. Convert it to want and you will succeed in life. And I think that particular thing I've never forgotten, because I went back with zest and zeal. And all of those who are in Pune, older generation would know that during my time, Alfa Laval got the best garden trophies continuously for 5 years.
Not only that, ma'am, the biggest thing you can chairperson that company, no? Imagine, ma'am, you can chairperson of Alpha,
That
no?
I was a very young person at that time. So what Mr. Damodaran say, you have to change, have to want to. Sometimes what happens is that you have to work because there are needs. You need some funds, you need whatever it is, so you need to go to work. But if you know you have to go to work, turn it around and say, no, I want to go to work. Get up in the morning and say, I'm going to work and I'm going to go work because I want to go to work. And that will change your whole atmosphere. It will change all your lifestyle. It will change what you can achieve in life. Do change from have to want. Everything you do, say I want to do it. Simple.
Unbelievable, ma'am. I think so many people relating to both your stories. I think I could see comments, people saying, ma'am, we relate to you, ma'am, we relate to you. No, and people's, no, I think it's unbelievable, the kind of days that you have. I'll come back to Damodaran, sir. You became the youngest chief secretary. You took a problem head on, no, and turned it around when nobody was there. And then people stood up and noticed you. So a lot of time people in career ask me that, no, how do you make it big in career? How do you make big in life? And here's you who is, whatever you've done, you turn it around at a level which the country still talks about, no? and people still say Mr. Damodaran, wow, be it SEBI, be it UTI, be it IDBI, be it your youngest chief secretary. So how did you do that in this challenging situation? Took care when people said it's dangerous, it's suicidal, don't take such kind of assignments, and here you're jumping into all this, no, very very happily. So how do you do all this, sir? Like, what was in your mind, and then when you look back in hindsight, what is the learning that we have from this?
Allow me to step back a little because I want to talk about something from my school life. When I was leaving school, and I was the youngest in my class at that point of time, my English teacher, an Irish priest, took a sheet of paper and wrote something on it, folded it, and gave it to me. That paper, unfortunately, is not with me, but the contents I have in my head. He wrote, "Duty accomplished makes our days always rich and noble." After this session is over, I'll request you to write that down and read the first letters. That's my name. And he thought it up just like that. Duty accomplished makes our days always rich and noble. But that said, when you ask me later, why did I take up difficult jobs? One, I'm a first generation civil servant. So I have not had the so called good jobs that others got. I've always had the more difficult assignments. And I think the learning was faster that way. When you're thrown at the deep end of the pool, you learn to swim. Of course, if you sink, you sink. There's no story after that. It doesn't matter. Nobody will know the story after. But if you learn to swim after being thrown at the deep end of the pool, I think that is a lot of learning. Second is I have always believed, and I shared this with you earlier, in what I call the treasure hunt theory of life. That when God created us, we are his best creations. So he will challenge us, he will give us problems, but he is not heartless. He or she is not heartless. So there will be a solution that is left somewhere. It's like a treasure hunt. You have to make effort to find that solution. You start with the assumption that there is no solution. Today, unfortunately, many people start by thinking every solution has a problem. I want to urge them to go back to the original statement. Look at life as if every problem has a solution.
Wow, sir.
Yes, there are difficult calls you have to take when you're in positions of leadership. You have to decide. You don't have the luxury of indecision. People look up to you. The situation demands decisions. It is a person who takes the tough decisions, the hard decisions, knowing that there is no personal agenda in this. That message gets across. People see you for who you are, what you're trying to do, no personal agenda. You're doing it for the organization. Then people tend to identify. At the end of the day, people are the strengths of any organization. When people talk in terms of the three P's, people, products, and processes, just look at the dictionary order. The people come first. You can copy a product, you can copy a process, you cannot copy people because people are different. Each person is different. And therefore, that resource is something that you need not to just utilize, to share your thoughts, your concerns, your aspirations, and find out how they can help you do what you want to do. Two or three things which I think one should do, not confuse ends and means. I notice a lot of persons today who confuse ends and means. They're doing something, they think once they reach that, that's the end of the world. That is an instrument, that is a route to something else. Once you recognize the difference between ends and means, once you don't get into this trap of, what is today very common, you tell somebody something first that is denied, then that is defied, and then that is decried. You, you shouldn't travel down that path. You made one very interesting comment, learn from everyone everywhere. One of my best learnings, and I must tell you this, was in my first assignment as a subdivisional magistrate in a very, very difficult situation. I got news that there was a law and order situation, couple of people had been killed. You want to get to the thick of action quickly. My driver, who was in his mid 50s, told me there's no hurry. Don't be the first to reach there because you are new. You're just 10 days or 15 days old in this. You reach there after the police reaches, the police will make a mess of it. You should reach there and then tell the people that now I will take care of this. Tell the police to move out of the way. They will then see you as the arbiter. That is when you will establish your personal credibility. Great learning from somebody who was not a magistrate. I'll give you one more example. I was living alone at that time. My wife was in Delhi. The children hadn't come along. So obviously the lunch came. I was busy at work. So it was 1:30, 2:30, 3 o'clock. And my old peon, about 55, my lunchbox was in my office. I would just move to the next table, not even another room, sit down there, have lunch, and get back to my workplace. So he would keep it there. Then he would look at me. He would look at the watch. He would try in several ways to tell me it's about time you get up from there and have lunch. At around 3 o'clock, he couldn't take it any longer. So we had this long list of incumbents of the various, people who'd been there before me. I was the 14th or so. So he said, "Sir, have you seen these names?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Some of them are very good officers, but they all ate lunch on time." That's all that he told me. I said, "Now that can be no more persuasive argument. I don't have to impress anybody. Just get up from where I am, put him out of his misery, have lunch, and then get back to work." I mean, along the way, one has learned so much from so many people that it could be several tomes that you can write on that. The way God designed us to give us 2 ears and one mouth. So you have to take in, not hear, but listen. In fact, the L in leadership is for listening. Everything else comes afterwards.
I I think the two things which I again, sir, which I've kept with myself. One is a treasure and one. For every problem, there's a solution. No, I remember I was passing through a very tough phase in my life. I was speaking to my mother, and she said, "Don't give up. Come what may. You will fight it out. Hang there, be there. Don't stop being a good human being, and this too will pass, and you'll emerge stronger. Don't give up." In fact, in the COVID situation, and since both of you are here, I think running a company with so many people, so many partners, and the distribution, the worry is not only business. That's the easier part. No, you have people who are falling ill, the people who are passing away, and every day you have some news which is terrible. I think after the initial excitement, no, as time progressed, this was getting very, very heavy on me. No, in terms of emotional trauma and the way every day when I heard a bad news and somebody passing away was traumatic, very traumatic for me, sir. And that is the time I decided and no, I told myself that either I'll emerge stronger from this crisis or I'll succumb. And then I remember my mother's word, never give up. So it's my promise and commitment, sir, as a company, as a person, as an individual, and all my team members and my partners will emerge stronger in every crisis and never give up. Listening to both of you, this message comes out very, very clearly. Never give up in life. Enjoy what you're doing. Emerge stronger. Be a people's person. Be obsessed about people. That is what matters. Rest, follows. Unbelievable, sir. As usual, such huge learning. Now, ma'am, I could have gone like with this session for the whole day, but we are coming close to the end of it. So I just ask the last question to both of you, and that is a very open question. Anything that you want to share with viewers, which is very close to your heart, and you felt that no, this is something that people should know. This is to both of you. Start with ma'am, and we end with sir, and then we call the session to a close. But I'm sure people are disappointed. The way they're enjoying it, they wanted it to carry on, but no, we have to stick to time. And ma'am, so ma'am, over to you.
Okay, I will just give a last remark. You see, I was a CEO and a managing director for close to around 20 years at a very young age. So I was very happy, very proud that I'm the managing director, first woman in a multinational. So all that brought a lot of joy, happiness. But to tell you honestly, The joy and happiness that I got then is nowhere compared to the joy and happiness that I get now from the work that I am doing. The work that I'm doing is to educate women, the girls. And when you see the joy in their eyes, when you have helped them to achieve something, it beats all the successes you had as managing director. I tell you, it's not important. That doesn't play any important role. That you became. Yes, it helped me to get to where I am to set the foundation. Yeah, and many people say that you should do social work after you're retired. I say you should do social work when you have the energy to do it, when you're young enough to put all your resources in it. That's why I started at 50, not when I retired at 65. Because if you don't have the energy, you don't have the desire, you don't have the confidence. ठीक है, I'm doing the scholarship, I'm putting my money in it, I have capacity to earn it back. That confidence is there when you have the capacity, and once you do that, I tell you, you will realize what joy it gives you. I've got close to around now 9,500 girls. We have started the new scholarship for this year. In spite of COVID, I'm going ahead with my program, and I've started also scholarships now in Hyderabad. So we will be giving another 1,000 girls will join my family this year, and I know the happiness I will get out of this, and this will continue even when I'm not there. I'm 100% sure. I built it in such a way that it will work another 25 years. This is the 25th year. I started with 20 girls, and now I've got 9,500 girls.
Ma'am,
So this is this.
ma'am, I've been there, ma'am. I've met those
Please
girls.
learn the joy of giving. God has given us two hands. One is for taking and one is for giving. Learn to give in life.
Ma'am, I've been a witness to it, ma'am. I've seen the way, I've met the girls. I've seen a performance. I've seen the respect they have for you. The way they call you mother, and the way they died just to be with you. I mean, and the happiness I could feel just being in their presence, ma'am. In that event, I remember just being there. I could see and sense that happen in the way you made difference to people's life. No, I think it's a huge learning for all of us. Why wait for one day to start? Start today. So you can make a difference so many people's life. Start today. Ma'am started her with her 53rd birthday. As she mentioned, she got that gift and she said, no, I'll make a difference to people and make a difference to society. And that gives her more happiness than any position that she's held. And believe me, the position she's held, most of us just dream to be there. Right from being a Padam Shri to getting an award from the King of Sweden, you name it, or being in the committee. Mr. Abdul Kalam was chairperson, of making difference to so many people's life. So after all that, she says her biggest happiness comes when she makes difference to individuals. Again, a huge learning, ma'am. Now over to you, sir. What are your closing comments or something that you would want us to learn and pick up?
Not hearing you.
So your closing comments, sir. Something that you would want us to learn and pick up, no?
I've lost the audio. Yeah.
Can you hear, sir?
Were you asking me something?
Yeah, I'm asking, sir, that any closing comments from your side, sir, about your learning that you want all of us to learn from or something.
You were asking me. Okay, right. Two thoughts. One, never retire. You may superannuate. That's a calendar item. You can't help it. But don't retire. I like what late Atal Bihari Vajpayee said, not tired, not retired. I think that should be the attitude in life throughout. The last thought I wanted to leave was that time is a very, very important resource. Whether you're the chairman or the doorman, you have the same 24 hours in a day. It's a question of how you use it. If you don't use time, it will go by and that one resource will be lost. Most other resources you might get back, this you won't. And I'm reminded of something from Shakespeare. An old Mark Antony, Julius Caesar, fully drunk, and a young Octavius Caesar having just won a battle. They were meeting in the evening. Julius Caesar offered Octavius a drink and asked him to drink. It was declined. He said, be a child of the time. I love those words. He said, be a child of the time. And young Octavius answered, possess it, I would answer. You got to possess time. If you let time go, if you let time be something that flies away and you cannot hold on to. So I think every second, every minute is important. You only one life to live. Live it well. The quality of life is important, but equally, don't lose time. The other last thought is don't search for perfection. If what you are doing is generally right, don't wait. Don't wait till you have all the facts. Then you will never ever take a decision. That's the last thought I wanted to share.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. And I could see that everybody had a great time. So many lessons to learn. I can guarantee you can attend any college in the world. In such a short time, you can't have life lessons, no? And that you can pick up every sentence, every word. For me, has been a huge learning. And as I said, I always pick up from both these people, no, and they're very close to me. So, wishing you all a very happy Teachers Day. I hope this makes a difference to your life. It does to mine. And thank you, sir, and I'm huge gratitude to you for having been here with us and sharing. Thank you, thank you.
And I must thank Leela ji. For me, a ringside seat on learning. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Great
learning.
takeaway.
One thing I felt very happy is we have many common thoughts together. We have very many thoughts
Yes.
common together. What you
Thank
are
you.
doing, what I'm thinking is quite related to each other.
I
Like
would say,
taking from anyone, learn from anyone. You can even learn from a sweeper. You can learn from a supervisor. And I have learned. I became managing director because of a supervisor. The advice he gave me, I followed and I became successful in my Soviet Union business. And that's what made me managing director. Until today, I write to him, Karnal Singh was his name, appreciating that he made me what I am today. Thank you very much.
I would add it to 95% common thoughts, ma'am, and so no. I think that is what defines successful people. I think that is very, very, very critical to hear that. So, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.